Captain Marvel's casting is just wow. When Brie Larson was first cast as Captain Marvel, everyone seemed pretty glad about it. I knew I was. The crowd was super thrilled that night. Everyone was clapping, everyone was hollering. I mean, they got an Oscar-winning actress for it. Who wouldn't be excited? And then as time went on, Marvel said that they'd change her powers and origin a bit. And then less people got excited. Then they said she'd be the most powerful Marvel hero in the movies. Then even less people got excited. Then Marvel said she could move planets, and now holy people are writing essays on how they hate this character. And I'm gonna try tackling this from an unbiased point of view, on why I think people are being too quick to jump the gun on this. They've written thousands of papers on how they're gonna boycott Marvel because of them changing things too much and putting too much focus on one unknown character. People just need to take it back a bit and relax.
Eyes when you're coming out.
Now I got a list of 3 main complaints here people are egging on about at Marvel. So let's start with the first one. Captain Marvel was miscast. No. That's like when everyone was saying Heath Ledger was miscast as the Joker before The Dark Knight came out. Captain Marvel, the movie, hasn't even been released yet. And Captain Marvel herself hasn't shown up in any live-action 2-hour movie yet. You can think she's going to be a miscast, but saying that she 100% is one doesn't entirely seem like that's fair. Not to mention that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because you haven't seen Brie Larson as the character yet. And I'm not talking about seeing her in some set photos, I'm talking about her being in the actual movie. The finished product. A lot of times people like to shoot them down before they even get a chance. It's not so much that it's toxic that's the problem, but the fact that it makes the rest of the fanbase look bad. They're so self-entitled that they're reduced to this when they don't get what they want. Here, let's take another example. I thought Jesse Eisenberg was going to be a miscast as Lex Luthor before Batman v Superman came out, because I knew Lex Luthor from the comics, and he did not line up with what I've seen from Jesse Eisenberg's work from his other movies. Jesse is a great actor, but he didn't seem like he could pull off that cool, calm, and sinister tone. But I couldn't definitively say that I thought he was a miscast, because I hadn't seen his interpretation of the character yet. So I waited for the movie to come out, hoping that I'd be wrong. And when the movie came out, I wasn't.
Ow, wow.
He didn't feel like Lex. He didn't feel like this version of Superman's arch enemy. So I could confirm that, in my opinion, Jesse Eisenberg was indeed a miscast as Lex Luthor. To call someone a miscast means that what they did in the movie was unsuitable for the character that you knew or had in mind, or they somehow misinterpreted them. The reason calling Brie Larson a miscast as Captain Marvel is dumb is because no one's seen her interpretation yet. To misinterpret something, she had to interpret it in the first place. The movie would have to have come out for her to interpret it. You can think she might be a miscast based on her work from her old movies, but you won't know how you really feel about it until the actual movie comes out. Brie Larson is an SJW feminist. Okay, so? Whether you support the feminist movement or not, why does her being a feminist even matter? I know a lot of you are concerned about some sort of social or political propaganda or whatever she might be trying to shove into this universe, but here's the issue with that. She's an actor, not a scriptwriter. She can't force anything some of you might be worried about into the movie because that's illegal. Not because Marvel is an anti-feminist company, but because professionally, that's not her job. I'm not defending Brie, I'm just pointing out how the real world works. Listen, if you hate what she does in her personal life, then okay, you do you. But you gotta remember, her personal life has nothing to do with the film. She's not supposed to be herself here. If she was, then she'd be doing a terrible job. That's the point in acting. You're supposed to lose yourself in the character so that it's believable. So that you do your part in making the end result the best it can be. Marvel is trying to shove liberal identity politics down people's throats. Okay, now this one is much more of a valid argument than those last two, because what Marvel, the company, does actually has an effect on its characters and its movies. Now, I'm not saying that them possibly doing this is a bad thing, but I'm not saying it's a good thing either. All I'm saying is that, based on what they've said on how they're gonna make Captain Marvel potentially stronger than Hulk and Thor, I can understand how this might worry some people. Especially since she's not supposed to be that OP in the original source material. And I know there's been a big uproar about how this isn't just gonna ruin her movie, but everything else after that too. All because some unknown character is just gonna show up out of nowhere, save all of the Avengers, save the universe all by herself, and ruin the entire build-up that was Infinity War. And to that I say, who says it has to be like that? Yeah, from what all the producers have been saying, it's pretty safe to say they're gonna make her a real haymaker when she joins the team. But who says that that's exactly how they're gonna do it? Like, okay, she's going to help the Avengers out. Of course. But that doesn't mean she's gonna necessarily be the key. That doesn't automatically mean that she's going to do what Superman did to Steppenwolf and end the fight in 30 seconds. Do I think she'll play an integral part in the movie? Yeah, the Avengers lost half of their team. They need more firepower, so she's gonna help them with that. But that does not mean she's gonna do it all by herself. The original 6 Avengers weren't killed off in Infinity War for a reason, so that we could focus on them and they could get a proper send-off in Avengers 4. And by now, I'm pretty sure Marvel is smart enough to know that making Captain Marvel, someone relatively new to the movies, be the one to single-handedly take down Thanos without anyone's help is bad. It's just a bad way to send off these characters. That is the most predictable and lazily written way you could go about things. It completely defeats the purpose of them being the last ones left alive. It'd be like they just stood there and didn't do anything. But again, a lot of people are mad about that because of just that. It's predictable. It's so predictable that it's painful. They think that they know what's gonna happen in the movie before they even see it, when in reality, all that is just speculation. Like a year ago, everyone was saying how they basically already knew that either Cap or Tony were gonna die in Infinity War. Even I was saying that, and yet, barely anybody guessed that Peter was gonna get dusted by the very end of it all. My point is, coming off of all the other movies Marvel's made in the past, after all the criticism they've gotten for being so formulaic and feeling so samey, they finally really surprised a bunch of us with Infinity War. So, don't you think they deserve more credit than what you guys are giving them? Look, throughout the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel has not made an incompetent film. Sure, some of their TV shows need some work, but their actual movies, they're all at least decent. Even the worst MCU movies, the ones that some people call bad, Thor 2, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, you might feel like they're bad, but believe it or not, they are still considered to be critically and financially successful. And that's a tough thing to do. We're like 20 movies in now, and their least liked films are still technically considered decent. It's understandable if you'd be worried about the Venom movie, because the last time Sony tried making a Spider-Man related movie without Marvel's help, it resulted in a jarbled mess that made the studio so scared that they had to reboot for the second time in less than 3 years. But with the MCU, that's 20 decent to really great movies. If you've watched all of them, and I mean all of them, then that means you spent over 43 hours of your life watching this franchise. And that's not even counting the rewatches you've done with some of these. So after everything, from the mediocre movies to one of the most successful movies of all time, do you really still lack that much faith in Marvel's ability to make another competent film? I'm not trying to tell you how to think about this movie, but you should at least give them that. Have some faith in them at least. Throughout all their work, they made you care about their characters. They made you want to come back to the theater even for the lesser known heroes. And they made you want to wait after the credits just to see at least a glimmer of what was to come next. Have we really gotten to the point where we just cannot wait? Even after 10 years of hard work, 10 years worth of effort that kept us coming back, people are still so quick to ditch them for something that they haven't even seen yet. Don't you think they at least earned your trust by now? That they know what they're doing? Don't you think they deserve the benefit of the doubt that they can make Captain Marvel a great movie?
One of the most unique and inspiring origin stories. We are a little less than halfway through filming now. We had an early call time this morning so that they could finish and get here for the premiere tonight, and then they'll be back early morning tomorrow. And it's going extremely well. It's a great cast on that film. Being able to tap into Carol Danvers' story for the very first time, to bring that to the screen, to tap into an era of the MCU that we've never been in before in the 90s, to see a version of Nick Fury who has reached a point in his career where he thought the Cold War's over, you know, the best days are behind him. And when he encounters certain things he encounters in this movie, it sets him on the path that leads us to where we are 19 films later.
Alright, that's enough out of me. I know I didn't really say why Captain Marvel was going to be great, but titling the video Why Captain Marvel Might Not Be As Bad As You Think just doesn't sound as good. How do you feel about the Captain Marvel controversy? Do you think Brie Larson will be great as Captain Marvel? Or do you think no, she won't? Let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, that's it for this video. For more of my content, just click right here.